Mary, at the same time, we also got authorization to terminate people for violating water use violations. That was the article right before that.
Greater flexibility?
Yeah.
No, Bob, you're talking about odd even.
Odd even.
You're talking about
Right.
odd even.
That's
That whole thing was stricken,
Oh,
and I'm substituting something, coming back and saying, all right, for these conditions, for example, for normal conditions for North Reading, it'll be odd even from April 30th through end of September, typically the higher water use period. And then as we go up, there's various ways we take water use. You can only water your lawn twice a week. Next one to be once a week, and then no outside use at all, hand watering only.
Okay,
So there is something coming that would replace that.
when you mean it's coming, it hasn't been written or approved yet. Correct.
Well, I have it basically half drafted now.
Yeah, we haven't
Part of it, it's goes to the Water Commission for them to review, but it's for and they don't have the right to approve it. They just will comment on it, but you gentlemen approve it.
We give input on it.
So getting back to if we did absolutely nothing, right, is there a town bylaw that required during the summer months, and I remember when they started and ended, alternate even water?
There was, but it was struck in the fall of 2010.
That was taken out?
And in its entirety.
That I didn't.
It's left to the board to determine what we're going to do.
It says the rule, and the intent was I was going to draft rules and regulations for you to review and to give more flexibility.
I was just curious as to whether that.
If we needed to react before anything is in place, we can react or just
Correct.
implement something.
And I have basically a template I gave to Mark to get to the Water Commission. I assume you'll get it as well, Joe, to show them they have a meeting this Thursday night.
Right.
That kind of lays that out. And like the triggers that set it off, as you remember the water tank levels we had the trouble with?
Right.
So those are one of the things. If the water level goes from X, boom, that means this condition. And it's kind of tiered into water demand and storage tank levels, since we get most of our water from Andover, whatever Andover does, and what the state does. The state has an index that takes into account precipitation and fire safety and a bunch of like 20 different things. So there's like 4 criteria, relatively easy to monitor, relatively easy for people to understand. You know, I think the level of the tank, I think everybody got that concept 2 years ago.
In Milton, they actually have different levels.
Yeah,
In summer months, you see different signs up.
Right. And we're kind of templating. They have a pretty good one. I took a sampling of like 50 communities, just went online and Googled. And Danvers has condition 1 through 6. I essentially combined 1 and 2. So that's our condition normal. And then it goes from advisory, watch, warning, emergency. So a lot of them have the same kind of template.
So when will you be bringing that to us? After review of the water?
Well, the commission will I'll get their comments Thursday or whenever I can come in. We have several water things and sewer things to bring in whenever it's convenient for the board.
Correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, we've already had some discussions on this anyway, right?
In general, nothing specific.
Nothing's, yeah.
The thing I'm looking for a vote, there's a water rules and regulations.
Mm-hmm.
That's the one that I had redrafted and made a little stronger.
Yeah.
That's the thing. I think I got comments. I changed them, and Mark says the commission's going to vote on it Thursday night.
Okay.
And this is kind of.
Well, I'm a little worried about Thursday night because there's some conflicts of interest that a couple people can't be there. So I'm a little concerned about that. I don't know if Mark has passed that on to you.
I know Vin couldn't make it.
Vin can't make it, and
Is it Joe?
no, I think Joe can make it. I didn't hear anything back from him, so we should.
Joe probably can't make it.
I'm sorry?
Have a debate.
We have a 6:15 date.
Well, I'll have to miss the debate. I think we have a problem.
No,
we may
that's
have
tomorrow.
a problem there because
And then it's a candidates forum patch.
Patch. Right.
That's new.
Yeah, that's now
I could, again, on a parallel path, I could get with Greg, have that same document sent to the selectmen to look at. So just both groups are looking at it at the same time.
right.
Good idea.
Yeah, that's a good
Would that be
idea.
an acceptable
Now,
compromise?
I'm sorry, I didn't catch your name. I'm
Sorry, Paul Brinkman.
Paul Brinkman. Okay. Now, is this going to be presented to the Water Commission as well?
I think it already was.
I'm sorry?
Mark already, the last meeting, Mark did a presentation on it.
Oh, I don't remember seeing this.
Anyway, Mr. Chairman, I move to recommend the updated water master plan, cover Article 9.
talk about the replacement vehicles yet.
No, I'm just doing this one.
But that's included in,
I
isn't
know, I'll
it?
tell you what.
It's a separate
I
item.
said,
Oh.
my guess is that the moderator can separate the article, so I just,
Hmm.
so this one here, I move to recommend the updated water master plan on Article 9.
Okay.
Motion by Mr.
Second.
Cleary, second by Mr. Prisco. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous.
Thank you.
Take off.
Replacement vehicles. Why are we doing them now?
Look forward to meeting with you.
Thank you.
Given the
Yeah.
whole thing,
Good.
it works better if you can vehicle.
I asked Greg to bring this forward because of the deficit issues with the water department last few years. We've deferred several projects and vehicle replacements.
What kind of vehicles are
So what are we replacing?
We're replacing a Ford Explorer with a Ford Escape. We're downsizing a vehicle. And I think one of our pickup trucks with utility bodies as well, so it's just two vehicles. And just the background to what Mr. Prisco said, I kind of heard you loud and clear. After the lawnmower thing of last fall, I basically did some research. I came up with a quantitative way to recommend replacing vehicles. So I came up with a policy that I'm using. And then I assessed the entire DPW fleet, looking at criteria such as mileage, condition, repair cost relative to replacement cost. And you found some interesting things, whereas I found one vehicle that we had spent more money on it than the replacement cost was. I took that offline, and I've also traded two vehicles in against the big dump truck, so I'm downsizing the fleet as well. So ways to keep the cost of fuel down is have less vehicles. I've heard that message as well. So those two vehicles for the water department raised to the top, being in the worst condition.
So the Explorer is used by who?
Mark Clark.
Okay. And the
It's got 146,000 miles, and it's had some reliability problems. So we're downsizing from Explorers to the Escapes as the next size down, with a four-cylinder engine versus six-cylinder.
Then the other one was a what kind of a truck?
It's a pickup truck with utility back, the kind that they put tools in, lift-up doors. That's used by the water department when they go out to their various water projects. It carries their tools and some water parts. And it has dual use in the winter. We plow snow with it.
And
Source of revenue would be, you looking to borrow?
Based upon what Dick reported this evening in terms of, I'm comfortable borrowing vehicles for that period of time. We'd have to look at what and check and see what the available funds are. I'm just not comfortable borrowing at this point for purchase of vehicles, especially vehicles like administration vehicles that don't last very long. Do not. No, they're not. They might have used life for 5
he
years.
said the vehicle was how old?
Yeah, no, Mark's
We generally get 10 years plus out of a runoff vehicle.
Does he really need an SUV?
If you've ever been to the plant behind, the water treatment plant behind Shade Concrete, it gets a little wet there sometimes, like a little wet.
I bet it does.
And I was looking at hybrids, and I thought hybrids and floods, maybe not a good mix.
I'll have to look into the source of funds. I had put down water revenues or borrow.
Yeah, it could be. Water revenue.
And even if you're gonna borrow, source of funding.
Would be
To
water
pay,
revenue.
to borrow, to pay for the borrowing would be water revenue too.
Correct.
So depending upon,
Interest rates so low.
Correct.
At least for vehicles, they're very low.
5-year borrowing, even less.
Why
can
don't
do
you
60
come back
months.
to us, Greg, with a recommendation based on looking at borrowing, leasing, whatever, paying cash.
Yeah, Mark's vehicle currently is a 2001 Chevy Blazer. It's got 146,000 miles on it. The other truck is a Ford F-350 with utility, 1999 truck with 93,000 miles on it.
Mark drives that home, right? He lives local.
Bradford.
Bradford.
Bradford. Yeah, he's on call. There are certain people that are on call. They call, unfortunately, frequently. Mark's one of them.
Okay. Any other questions for Dick? Steve?
in favor of placing the vehicles, it's a source of funding.
Question is
It's a
source of funds.
funding.
So what I suggested is, Greg, look into that and come back with a recommendation next meeting.
Thank you.
You don't want a recommendation, want a whole recommendation?
But I recommend,
Yeah, move to recommend.
Yeah.
Move to recommend the replacement tables for the water department.
do I hear a
Well,
second?
second.
Second by Mike Prisco, all in favor? Opposed? Unanimous?
Thank you.
You want to move ahead?
Yeah, I actually want to spend a few minutes talking about document management. I apologize for the lateness of the hour. I promise you I won't take a long time. We did. There is a report that was issued, and it's been put in the Dropbox. If you've had an opportunity to review it, that's great. You remember at town meeting in October, we appropriated $25,000 to do a document management needs study, and as part of that, what we wanted to do is two things we're trying to accomplish: migrating all of our paper products to electronic record keeping. But the other thing that this report identifies is automating all of our workflows and processes to the extent we could possibly do that. And that's probably the second, probably even a bigger piece in the automated document management. If you read through the report, you'll see it talks a lot about workflow and work processes. And a lot of communities have digital document management, but there are only a few communities that I've been able to see that have begun the transitioning to migrating to automating all of their workflows and processes to the extent they possibly can. And those are Reading, which is in the beginning phases, and Lexington. So those are your two communities that are really moving this issue forward. And they're working for a company called General Code, who we hired to do our digital document needs study. And they did a really good job. And if you've gone through there and you read through it, I hope you're impressed with some of the recommendations that are in there. The report proposes that there be a three-phase project be done over a period of 3 years. The phase project makes a lot of sense in the fact that it's really a very large initiative. And what we want to do is we want to start it off small and successful. And if you went through, you'll note that there was a project management team which consisted of me as a town administrator, the town clerk, who was our primary record keeper, and Eugene from the IT department. As you know, IT has a major role. So we're a three-headed project management team. We had an opportunity to introduce the consultant who met with all of our department heads in mid-February. You'll note that there was extensive reporting on that. And what came out of that was this recommendation in this report. And the essence of the report was to people, don't be afraid of change. What we want to do is we want to create more efficient processes. We also need to be able to find our paper records and our paper documents. We met with the consultant. We've reviewed the report. We've had a couple more meetings with department heads. Everyone is enthusiastically behind the project. Everyone realizes that we really need to move in this direction. As we start to transition over from senior staff to more junior staff, we're finding that people can't find things. And if you've ever been in some of the storage areas of Town Hall, you'll see that we're loaded and we're jammed with paper.
Yes, you are.
We are truly jammed with paper. And we face some unique filing system problems. For example, I know that if you're in the building department or you're in the Board of Health, it's really easy to find something based upon a street address. But I can show you in the case of a department like Dick or my department, it's really hard to find things because things come in that are related to all types of different departments. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to find a filing system that is adaptable to each and every department. And this does that. It's not so much critical upon finding things that based upon the name of the document. A lot of times these digital document management tools were key upon what you name the document. And this doesn't work like this. This can find things by either date or by keyword or by subject. Whatever criteria you put in will help find documents. So what are the advantages of this thing? The advantages are we can identify and find records quickly and more efficiently than we can. We can be more transparent in our operation by posting and allowing access to the public and boards and committees to records. We become more efficient because we've documented and automated all of our workflows to the extent we possibly can. And so what we want to do is we want to look at rolling out phase one, and what I'm proposing to do is to roll out phase one under this project. And again, phase one would involve the town administrator, the town clerk, human resources, IT, and recreation. As a result of the initial report that was done, we found that those are the